Hi, this is Esther Tanez, CEO of ESTIR Inc. Insurance Agency. We are back with the journey of an entrepreneur. We're in season 3, money, sales, and customer service. These are 3 areas that every small business needs to be concerned about. And today we have a guest. His name is Ricardo Roman from Caliper.
Well said.
He's going to be talking about sales and the attributes of a salesperson, the different roles that we have today, and what's happening today. But here's our topic. What do you need to be a successful salesperson? This is important. Follow us every Thursday at 1:30, either on YouTube or here Facebook Live or Instagram. Don't forget to follow us. Hit share, hit like, ask some questions, say a quick hello, and tell us where you're watching from. But let's start with, I call him Ricky Ricardo. His name is not Ricky Ricardo, right?
That's okay.
So anyway, Ricardo, tell me a little bit about you and how long you've been with the company.
Perfect. And thank you for inviting me. I guess it's my turn in the hot seat.
That's right.
I know a couple of your guests, so I was wondering when it was going to be my turn, and here it is today.
I'm fair.
Absolutely. And by the way, you're doing a great job. I follow you, and I think you're doing a fantastic job with this, what you're doing here.
Thank you.
You don't have a lot of people doing this, and this, I know it takes a lot of work.
It does.
So
and we want to help the small business owners. I mean, as an insurance agency, we specialize in small business, and we want to help you, the small business, to be successful. And I know you're an expert in sales and all of profile and all that good stuff. But tell me about you first.
Well, a little bit on my background. You know, I'm an MBA by trade.
Okay.
Right, but everything for me started in. I only had. This is very interesting. I only had 2 jobs in my life.
Oh.
One was the United States Air Force, so I'm a vet from the Air Force.
Look at that.
And the second one is Caliper, the company that I've been working with since 2002. And the reason that I've only had two careers is because in both of them I loved what I do. I loved what I do. I loved what I did in the Air Force. And I love what I do for Caliper.
That's
that's an essential criteria
right.
For the successful salesperson to be able to love what they do.
Absolutely. I find that if you don't have passion, you can't sell that product. It's really hard. Knowledge and excitement for it and love for it, it's really difficult to sell something that you don't believe in.
Absolutely.
I mean, we're pretty transparent, right?
Right.
We're pretty transparent. So I've only done the insurance.
Yeah.
So if anything happens with the insurance, I'm in trouble.
But I don't think insurance is going away anywhere.
No. It's a need. I know you don't like it, but it's a need. But so Caliper is known for assessing. For those that are looking for careers or changing career, this is a great company that does a personality assessment, and then it will tell you what your strengths are and what kind of careers you should be in that you will be successful at. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, here's how Caliper started. I think you'll find this interesting. Dr. Herb Greenberg, who founded Caliper, at that time he was teaching at Rutgers, and there was a large insurance company in New York City that were losing 50% of their sales reps first year and about 80% by year 3. So it was a revolving door. So back then, there was nothing that can predict sales success because we're talking mid 50s.
Oh, wow.
So even back then, there was an issue with how do we know and how can we select top performing salespeople. So Herb, him being the ultimate salesperson, right, took this consulting gig for this insurance company, and his mandate was to look at all the literature that was out there, all the selection systems that were out there, and try to determine if there was anything at all that can determine sales success.
Wow.
So he, of course, took
it. So he created it.
He, of course, took it, looked at all the literature. There was nothing that can predict sales success.
Okay.
There were a lot of assessments, but they were more for clinical purposes.
Okay.
A lot of stuff that came out of World War II and Korea and things like that, right? But there was nothing used in corporate, in business to predict sales success. So say, hey, maybe there's, where there's a need.
Opportunity.
So he took on the challenge, and he thought he was going to have something in 3 or 4 months. It took him three to 4 years to develop the assessment.
Of course.
And once he had it, he quit teaching at Rutgers.
I don't blame him.
And started what is now known as Caliper, in 1961.
Wow. How old is he now? Is he still with us?
Unfortunately, he passed away a couple of years ago.
So he was around a long time.
Absolutely, but his legacy lives on with us at Caliper, because we carry on what he truly believed, that the potential of individual is what drives. A lot of people look at experience and education as criteria for success, and what really determines success is the potential of the individual to fulfill those requirements of the job. So there's a huge personality component in that, particularly in sales. You cannot be successful in sales if you don't have a certain personality. And that's why I'm sure we're going to get into that.
We're going
right?
to get into that because that's very interesting, right? People go to school and get all these
Absolutely.
degrees. And I was telling my girlfriend that sometimes when someone tells me their level of education, and if the higher it goes, I raise the bar much higher,
Right.
unbeknownst to them. And then if they can't deliver at that level, all that education, I get very disappointed. And
That's right.
I get disappointed, and I'm like, whatever. But it is correct. I have met people with less education who have impressed the heck out of me.
Absolutely.
And you're right. I think it's the personality.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in my MBA class, half of the people couldn't sell water in the Sahara. They were more analytical. That's what really drove them, right? So that's the total opposite of what a salesperson is. Put a salesperson in front of a computer all day long, and they're going to get bored to death. They'll leave your company if that's all they're going to do.
So assessing, when you're hiring, it should be a key component for small business owners.
Absolutely.
I mean, we are doing this show for you, for the one that already has a business, who are trying to grow, or someone that is thinking of opening a business. This is crucial, assessing for the right role.
Exactly.
So personality attributes. Let's talk about that.
Absolutely. So one of the key attributes that a lot of people ask me about is competitiveness, right? And they say, well, if this person is competitive, then they should be good in sales. Well, no, because athletes are competitive. And I know athletes that couldn't sell water in the Sahara. So competitiveness is not one of the key. It's a great attribute for a salesperson, but you need much more than that.
So what would be the essential ones, some of the top ones?
Even back in 1961, Herb discovered that there were 3 essential traits, right?
Pay attention. 3.
One was confidence and resiliency, right? You have to be confident. You can't take, a salesperson, that's it,
Can't get emotional, right?
Can't get emotional. They bounce back quickly. They look for the next challenge as soon as they hear a no. For them, no is no. It's like a maybe.
Yeah.
Other people that don't have that trait, they usually,
give up.
They go out for a 2-hour,
drink lunch
and dread the next call they have to make.
Oh, so if you're feeling like that, that's probably not your role.
Absolutely. So, but we all feel like that once in a while.
Not constantly, though.
Exactly, but it's not something that's going to prevent you from doing the things that you need to do.
Well, you said some keywords: dreading.
Right.
I have felt like frustrated, temporarily.
Right.
I didn't like how that went. But I've never dreaded.
Exactly.
Like making the phone call or dealing with the client.
Absolutely.
That's a good one.
The other one is empathy. So, putting yourself in someone else's shoes. And empathy is not sympathy. If you have a sympathy, you get out of the game because all you're going to do is give away the store. Empathy is just putting yourself in the other person's shoes and kind of understand where they're coming from so you can use that to sell them.
Yes.
And I don't mean to be like, you're trying to be sneaky or anything like that, but you do have to have an openness, a willing to listen,
yeah,
and hear that person as to where
with understanding,
exactly,
to look for that solution that
right.
How can we help them
exactly,
or you're not a right fit,
exactly. And then the other one, the number 3 was persuasiveness, right? You got to be persuasive, right? So what drives persuasiveness is it's a combination, and this is very insightful. So you definitely have to be assertive, right?
Yes.
You got to tell it like it is. You got to say, no, this is the way it is, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? But then that's in combination with something that is even a little bit underneath the surface that we usually don't report on. And that's someone you can't be too you can't rationalize things too much.
Right.
Because then what happens is you start building excuses for why the person doesn't want to buy.
Correct.
So, for example, when I'm trying to say, you're trying to sell me a policy, and let's say it's a little bit over my budget.
Right.
The worst thing you can tell me is, well, you're right, and I can see your point. Maybe we can do it this next year. No, the salesperson won't do that.
No.
They'll figure out somehow a way to get you to buy this product,
Right.
even if they have to, make a little bit of adjustments.
Right.
But they're not going to go away just because you say that.
Right.
Because you didn't rationalize what they said.
Right.
So they keep pushing. So that's persuasive motivation.
Persuasive. So many people, when they hear the word persuasive, they see it in a negative tone. But I think persuasive is crucial. I mean, if you can't convince someone to,
Right.
I mean, how are you going to be a leader
Exactly.
if you're not persuasive?
Absolutely. So
How are you going to convince?
exactly. So in the leadership is not influencing. It's influencing, persuading, but it's influencing, persuading the folks that work for you, right?
Right.
And you're not quote unquote selling something, right?
No.
But you are selling your company, the dream. Come work for me. We're
Right.
gonna go. We're gonna
Get the team
go at this together.
motivated,
Exactly. So there's that. Imagine the difference between a leader that's not persuasive is somebody that's very telling. And when somebody just kind of tells you something, you know how that feels,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But the leader that's much more persuasive can put it to you in a way that you like. Okay, I'll sign up for that.
I sign up for
So
that.
that's the difference.
That is a big difference. It feels different when you are making someone feel like they're part of the team, get them excited on the vision or your product or what you can do for the product. I often say, don't sell on the features,
Right.
but sell on the benefits,
Exactly.
right? Get someone excited about what it can do for them. I've had clients who've said to me, really that's out of my budget, I can't afford it. And I'll say, okay, let's work with the essentials. Let's
Right.
see what we can find. What are your main concerns? And when you get them to share with you,
Exactly.
and then you say, okay, because this will take care of that for you, and that's why asking questions with the empathy part, with wanting to understand what is that person's
Right.
fears and their concern.
Exactly.
You can close a deal better
Right.
than trying to tell you to them, okay, this is my product, just it's good for you, just get it. It's not going to work.
Exactly.
So
Those things can be measured, and that's what we do.
Tell
So
me.
we measure the level of empathy, we measure the level of persuasive orientation, we measure the level of confidence and resiliency. So if we have someone that has high levels of that, you should be in the game. And speaking of the game, 50% of the people selling probably should be doing something else. And I say that, and a lot of people are going to say, well, no, Dan Pink came out with, To Sell is Human,
Yeah.
a book where everybody sells, but not everybody has a quota.
Oh,
That's what separates the salesperson
right.
from someone just selling, a membership to my club or something softer like that take it or leave it. It's not gonna make or break my career.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So you're kind of selling a little bit, but when what separates the person is the quota, because a lot of people, like, when I describe what a salesperson does, they're like, oh, I want some of that. Oh, we go to conferences, we go to dinner. We go, we visit
Network,
clients,
yeah.
we network, we do all this, and I'm like, some people are like, whoa, I want some of that, but then you say, okay, so what's the ROI?
Right.
It cost me $1,000 to send you to this conference, so you're
What's the
supposed to
return on
bring
investment?
back
Yeah.
3 times, 4 times, whatever your company decides, what's the ROI on that particular event. You got to come back with something. So you can't just be like, oh, I'm gonna go out and eat and whatever. Use that.
It's
social
not a
thing.
social thing.
Exactly.
It may look like a social thing. So the ROI is your return on investment, meaning that if you've invested networking and taking out to dinner and going to all the activities that you have to do, what is that cost?
Right.
If it costs you $1,000, the ROI, the company might say, well, we're going to invest $1,000, we expect $3,000 back,
Exactly.
or $4,000. The company's
Exactly.
going to put that, and once the company puts that, that's where it gets people are like, oh, I don't like that.
Right. So the salesperson will say, so how about if I bring you 4 times, Can you?
Yeah.
What's my bonus, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's how that's
A salesperson speaks that way, right?
Exactly. So that those are the three main qualities. We have more, right? So we have aggressiveness, and aggressiveness is not, I'm going to take you by the collar, I'm going to make you sign a policy.
Yeah, don't
aggressiveness is defending your point.
Yes.
Not acquiescing. So, like we said before, if it's a little high on the price, you're not going to say, okay, I hear you. No. I'll say, well, okay, let's talk about that. Or kind of stick with, stay in the game, stay in the game, and don't acquiesce too quickly. And then we have the real good one is, we call it tenacity, or more like urgency. You got to have a sense of urgency. You got to have that
yeah,
sort
like a mortgage,
like,
tuition.
Let's do this,
Yeah.
Exactly. So then the other one is, you have to be willing to risk, right? Make decisions. You got to be decisive.
Right.
So those qualities, the aggressiveness, the urgency, the decisiveness, now you start looking into that very competitive nature of the individual.
Right.
Because you can have somebody that has a little bit of persuasive orientation, confident, but then they're very too patient.
Yeah.
Right. Undecisive.
Right.
Right. So that's where these other traits starts giving the salesperson a little bit more color,
Right.
and then that will lead them into the different sales types that we have.
Oh, there are different sales types.
So we have 6 different sales types.
Ready for that? 6 different sales types. Tell me.
So, we have the classic one, which is new business development. These are the challengers, if you will.
Yeah.
These are the people that are knocking on doors,
Making cold calls.
Cold calls,
Going in your
selling
face.
you a car, that kind of thing. So those are the new business development. That's basically what it is. They develop new business. Then those people are the very competitive, very salesy, high persuasive, very confident, et cetera, right? So then you got account management, right? So now account management pretty much work with clients, establish clients, and then they sell into clients. Right?
Oh, like cross-selling.
So now you have a little bit more of a relationship already built and things like that, right? So then you have consultative sales, right? So someone is a little bit more like a consultant, right? Now you're exercising much more patience, a little bit more on the sociability. Right. So then, you have those, and then you have a technical sales, right? So maybe somebody that's selling very technical equipment to, let's say, the government.
Right.
Right. So it takes a different personality, because if you put a new business developer in that role,
no good.
He'll probably get thrown out by the 4-star general. Right.
Right.
They'll probably go like, well, this guy, what's wrong with this guy? Yeah. It takes about a year and a half to get this proposal through, right?
Right.
And the new business developer doesn't have enough time for that.
So Caliper decides what
we separate those based on the results and the levels of each of the individual traits that I've been talking about. That'll put you in the right category, right?
So if you're more consultative,
Right.
if you're more of the established client that you're trying to sell a second product to,
Exactly.
or the new one that needs aggressiveness.
Exactly, and then we have account services, and that's really, really, really much more of a service kind of type. Maybe a little bit more on the retail side. When people come in, you ever go to a store and
Yes.
and you go to the
salesperson's
counter, and then there's a salesperson, and you come out like they're like wow, that person shouldn't be behind this counter. They were just nasty.
Right.
That's a personality thing.
Oh.
You see, if you have an account service person behind that counter, you're gonna have a great experience, because they're very accommodating. They're very social.
Right.
They're like, what is it? What do you need? How can I make it better for you? Et cetera, right? And then the one that I love is a strategic salesperson.
Ah.
That's the motto I love, because you know what it does? The strategic salesperson combines IQ with EQ.
Say
right?
what IQ and EQ is.
Well, IQ is intelligence, right?
Intelligence.
And EQ is emotional intelligence. So when you combine those two, that's powerful. Right? That's your strategic salesperson. That's taking all these traits, right?
A little bit of everything.
And putting a very strategic mindset on that person, what we call abstract reasoning, a high level of cognitive
processing,
thinking. Imagine you having a producer that has a high level of abstract reasoning with all those traits of the new business developer, being able to go into a client, break down all these things that are very complex into very simple solutions for the client.
And I think if I can see why that's your favorite, that would be my favorite as well, because It's so important. So many of us are in the industry that some of our words are very techy or very
Right. Absolutely.
or very industry specific.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when people are talking to a potential client, they start
Right.
to talk in those abbreviations, and
Exactly.
the customer is lost.
Yeah.
I think that approach of making things simple and picking up on the emotional. I mean, are you aware that that person is not connected with
Right.
you, or that a person is connected with you, or if you lost their interest? That's really essential. I love the IQ EQ one.
Yes. Yes,
I agree
absolutely.
with you.
I do too, right?
I don't
agree
know,
with me.
I don't know. I don't know if I have that, but
You do. So remember, I said 50% of people shouldn't be selling.
right.
So now with the job families, right? We talk about the other 20 to 30% that are selling the wrong product or service. So they should be in the selling game. They're just not in the right role.
And calipers testing tells you that.
Yeah, we identified all that. So remember, behavior can be measured.
Behavior can be measured.
Yeah. So those things are traits lead you to behavior, right? Persuading someone is more like a behavior, but it's driven by the inherent personality
trait,
traits.
Yeah, because if a person is a little shy,
Yeah.
or they don't do eye contact, you shouldn't be selling.
Right. So then you have the rest, right? The 20 to 25% that are selling 80%, right? So this
Right.
is the old 20-80
20-80 rule.
80-20,
Yeah.
20-80 rule.
80-20 rule, whatever it's called.
These people love what they do. Why? Because they're in the right roles that's matched to the core inherent motivators and drivers. Now, wouldn't it be wonderful to be in a role like that?
It
You
would
never
be
have
happy.
to work.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
And that's where that comes from.
That's awesome.
If I'm matched to the role it matches my personality, who I am, everything comes natural. And if everything comes natural,
then
I'm
you're
definitely
happy.
gonna
You
be
go home
successful.
happy. Your family's happy because you're in a good mood.
So all
instead
you
of being
have
stressed
exactly.
out.
So all you have to do as an owner, all you have to do is train me how to, I don't know, how to write a policy
Right.
and let me go because
You have
this
you'll
is
have
me.
the other stuff.
Exactly.
Oh, that's awesome.
that's-
I think
that's
I'm
what
going to
I
start
mean.
using caliper testing.
So that's where
I
it
think
comes
so.
from. And then what's going on today, right?
Yeah, the market has changed so much.
Absolutely.
Tell me about that.
It's changed a lot. So now, with the Googles of the world, right? It used to be buyer beware. You know, you beware as a buyer because I'm gonna sell you something.
Right.
Now it's seller beware. And what that means, what that means is that
No.
the seller knows more, the buyer knows more than the seller,
Wow.
right? So you're gonna sell me a policy, right? So I've done my due diligence, right? And
Right.
I've researched everything that I have to research.
That's true.
So now that's personal. So imagine you're working for a company and you're gonna have to buy a AV system. Now your reputation is on the line. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go out there and you're gonna be as diligent as possible. Look at every system that's out there because your reputation is on the line,
Right.
right? So I whittle it down to 3 or 4,
Go ahead.
and then I make my call,
Right.
right? So now the person that's coming, basically their job is not to lose the sale,
Right.
or beat the other guys,
Or beat the other guys.
the other ladies, right?
So sometimes when you beat the other person, sometimes it's price driven, customer service, or quality. I always tell my staff, especially my salespeople, that find out what is the concern of the consumer. The consumer sometimes, there's 1,000 insurance agencies,
Right, exactly.
But they're not disappointed on the rate. The coverage is fine, the price is fine. They're disappointed that they don't get a return call. And that
Right.
to them is essential.
Oh, absolutely.
So I find that sometimes our own salespeople are so focused on price, but they never found out if that's their concern.
Right.
Yes, most people are concerned about price, but a
Absolutely.
lot of times they just are upset because they need those calls to be returned because their stuff is urgent. And so sometimes we can just sell on quality of service instead of focusing on price.
Absolutely.
Is that what you're referring to when the consumer is coming to you to find out what are they concerned about? What do they know? What are they looking for?
Exactly. I mean, they already decided they were going to buy. They already decided they're going to buy from you. The number that's thrown in the industry right now is about 76%.
So if you're getting a phone call, you should be able to close it.
So if I'm in the buyer's journey, right, I'm already 70% there by the time I call you.
Yeah. Shame on you if you can't close that.
Absolutely.
And if you can't close it, that means you might not be in the right role.
And that's why the game has changed so much, is because you have, you're making a call to someone that should know their product, their services, their pricing, everything, right?
Yes.
And sometimes you get someone that, shouldn't be selling, right?
Shouldn't be selling. And messed up the deal when it was already there on the table.
Right. So these strategic salespeople become advisors, right? Because they're not talking about price. Everybody wants the advisor, right? The advisor,
the knowledgeable person.
The knowledge broker, the advisor. So how do you get there? You don't get there by fighting price. You get there from moving this company from point A to where they want to be at point B.
Yeah.
Your product is an essential part of that.
Right.
But you have to be knowledgeable enough for them to be able to treat you as a partner. Because otherwise you're just a vendor.
Yeah.
Right?
There's a difference.
So you as a partner, you taking that journey with them.
Right.
Right? To be able to get them to, let's say, you want to double your revenue.
Right.
So how are you going to do that? Right? Those are the
focus
conversations.
on the benefits.
Those are
what you're going to bring to the table,
or where the company wants to, where they want to go.
What's the vision? Yeah.
What's the vision? What is it? What is it that
And how do you fit? How do you fit there?
Exactly.
This is awesome information. I think I'm going to ask Ricardo to come back because we're not done. There's so much more to ask, but we're running out of time. We're so excited that you were with us. Today's topic was, what do you need to be a successful salesperson? What are the key elements? And he said a lot of golden nuggets. So go back and rewatch the video. It'll be on Facebook and later on YouTube. And you'll be able to find it. This is phenomenal information if you're in sales, if you're a business owner and you're having a hard time hiring people or your salespeople are not being effective. This is crucial. Caliper is a great company that you can go and get them tested and make sure that you have the right person. This is Esther Tanez, as the CEO of Esther Inc. Insurance Agency. We sponsor this event, this show every week for you, the small business owner. Make sure you follow us, hit share, hit like, write some comments, ask me some questions. And soon we'll start what's called, Hey Esther, what's happening with my insurance? Follow us with that. That's going to be coming soon. See you next week, next Thursday at 1:30.